Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about line in nature. The lines that you see when you walk around outside in flowers and grass and rocks, in the sky, in trees, things that you observe when you look closely at what's around you. So I brought a slideshow to show you some of what I mean. I love walking around and looking at the details of things. Here's some pictures that I took of details. Can you guess what they are? On one side, it's a starfish. You can see all the lines that make up the patterns in the starfish that you don't see when you're far away, but when you look up close, it's really interesting. On the other side is this is a succulent, and you can see the jagged lines and straight lines and how they all come together in the center, and the repeated lines make a pattern. So when I was thinking about this, I remembered a magazine I used to love when I was a kid. It was called World. It was a National Geographic magazine. And they had a special feature in the back called What in the World? And I went to the internet and I found some pictures of it. And this was my favorite thing. You had to guess what the pictures were, and they're really close up photographs of details of things. And these particular ones are details found in nature. So if you look closely, there was a clue too. On the orange cover, this one at the top here, the clue is after dark, you may see eyes like these near porch lights. What do you see going around the porch lights at night? Maybe a moth, and the patterns on the moth look like eyes. And this one here, there's a lot of good lines in this one. What's the clue for that? Touch this angry looking figure and you'll get pricked fingers. What do you think it is? Looks like a cactus. Here on the other side, on the yellow page, this one here, the clue is a cat with a wintry name. It has darker relatives. I'm going to guess it's a snow leopard, but we don't have the answers, so we'll leave that as a guess. So I thought these photographs were really great at showing us the lines and the patterns that we see in nature. And artists use those all the time. Artists are observers, they look closely. Here's an artist named Rebecca Rootstein. She likes to study things, and she was the artist at sea. That means she got to go on a research vessel and do art to help people understand about the environment and how things are all tied together. And she likes to do art to help people understand about climate change, how the earth is getting hotter and how that affects things that live here. So she did these paintings and she looked at the water where the ship was sailing under the microscope and looked at the microbes and the bacteria. And she drew and painted the patterns with the feeling of the ocean while she was on the boat working with the scientists. And she added in patterns that show the currents and the winds and the stormy seas to help us learn about science and climate change. So, this is just one example of how an artist looks at the patterns and the lines in the universe and uses them in their work to show you something. So, today I want you to be observers and scientists. I want you to go outside and collect lines and patterns. So, what you're going to do is you need a piece of paper and something to draw with. You're going to take your paper and make a what in the world. So you need 9 squares on your paper, 3 by 3. And then once you do this, you can go outside and collect your lines and your patterns. Fill each square with a pattern from something you observe outside. When you go outside, make sure you let an adult know where you're going. I went in my backyard, and these are the things that I found. Can you guess what any of them are? I'll give you a clue. There's a rock, the wood on a fence, a lot of plants and leaves, and the texture on an apple on a tree. So I hope you had fun collecting patterns and observing and researching your environment. And maybe you'll make a bigger drawing out of some of the patterns you collected today. What would happen if you made them bigger or filled a whole page with them or used them as the starting point of something else? So I can't wait to see what you've made.